is a moment.
Are you having a moment?
I'm having a moment.
Let's take a moment.
Are you having a moment?
I'm having a moment.
Let's take a moment.
This is a moment.
I think this is a moment.
Yeah, this is a moment.
Welcome everyone to This Is a Moment podcast. It's your girls Paige and Imaya. And this is our new video series, An Underrated Moment with, and we have a friend of the podcast, actor, writer, model. I mean, can we add some more? We'll find some more to throw in there as well.
Yes.
Dyani, Rejae, thank you.
Welcome, Dyani.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yes, happy that you could join us today. And we always start off our episodes by asking, did you have a moment this week? Did something happen you would like to share?
I did. I had a moment of gratitude for all my friends in my life that cook, because I am not a fan of it. Even when I do it, like the meals would turn out good, but like I don't enjoy it. And I feel like I'm putting out fires the whole time. I don't know how people find it relaxing.
Putting
but
It's
out
not
fires.
enjoying. Yeah.
But I have 3 friends who love cooking, and I was there eating my 3rd meal, and I was like, God is good.
That is
Yeah, thank you.
amazing. Well, like, what will they cook?
One friend made a gourmet turkey burger, and then another friend, I don't even know what you call this dish, but she's from Houston, Texas, so it's some Southern
Some
comfort
Houston
food. Yeah, I don't know what to. I asked her, and she was like, some stuff I put
It's just
together.
things in it.
She's like, it's food.
And then my other friend will cook like branzino, so that's like
okay.
I keep hearing about branzino.
I know, I haven't tried it.
And I need to eat it. Like, I've heard it on several episodes of TV lately, and I kept being like, what the fuck? I need to eat a branzino because what's
is
happening?
it? Yeah.
It's fish, right?
Yes, it's fish.
I love it.
A lot of people think it's pasta, though. Like,
I would have thought that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those of us who don't know yet, but then you now that you know,
Then you get it. And you're like,
And it's
oh,
just
God.
like the way you cook the fish. It's not the fish's name, right?
I think the fish's name is branzino.
Oh, it is.
Oh.
Yeah, and then you could cook it different ways.
Get her name correct, please. That is her name.
That is a fancy name for a fish.
It really is.
Because you got like salmon, trout,
Wow.
snapper, branzino.
true.
Like, that is a fancy name for a
fancy.
fish.
That's
She's
so
luxury.
true. She has her own cooking show. That's why they're like, we obviously, this is the fish we cook.
Right? Wow. I love that for her.
Obsessed.
Yes. Well, that was a lovely moment about that fish. I
Yes.
feel like I'm like,
It's mostly about that.
I like could say more, but I'm kind of like, the branzino got her moment, and I feel like it happened nice and good. I do wish I enjoyed cooking a little more as well. Like, I do sometimes, but like not enough to do it every day. But like, I do like on a Sunday when I have time, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make something like fun, and then I make like a
Yes.
new recipe, and then I feel really proud of myself.
Yeah.
But during the week, I'm like, I'm tired. Like, I don't
Right.
microwave something because
Right.
Yes,
That's
cooking
my
is so hard.
yes. It's my least favorite thing to be like, I have to go stand at the stove now. Like, I don't want to do that.
I only get excited if it's like a recipe I'm trying, because I'm like, ooh, what's the flavor?
Right.
Like, trying out flavors. But like, whenever I come home and like my boyfriend is like about to cook food, or he has it cooked, I'm like, oh, it is very nice to come home to a cooked meal. Like, I see why people want that for their daily life, but I don't think I can do it.
I'm praying for a cooking man. 'cause
Yeah.
it's
I
not-
cannot provide that service.
Yeah, no. I get annoyed with myself because sometimes I'm like, ooh, I'm in the mood for this, and I'll cook me up something, but I'm like, oh, why would you do this to us? Me,
Why are
myself, and I.
Yeah. Why are you hurting us right now? We don't want that. I'm sobbing.
Oh my gosh, I don't want them.
I don't want that. Thank you. I feel it.
Wow. Well,
No.
speaking of me, myself, and I, we're taking a moment for a comedian extraordinaire who is, unrecognized. Well, she's recognized, but not as much as she should be.
Right.
And she was doing the damn thing all by herself, has several TV shows. So, Dyani, why don't you introduce for us what your underrated moment is?
We will be talking about the great the funny, the beautiful Amanda Bynes and her comedic
Yes.
genius in What I Like About You.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, what I like about you is interesting because Amanda Bynes like was such a big child star. Like a lot of people know her, recognize her, but I feel like What I Like About You was weirdly like not as popular. Like I
Right.
only had like a few friends. Like I would because I feel like it would like rerun a lot. Like they would play it a lot. And so I had some friends who would like it, but like not as much. Like I feel like no one was talking about it as much. And I'm like, What I
Right.
Like About You is like so cute. Why aren't more people talking about it?
Yeah, I think I was the only one in my friend group who liked that show.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were like, "You're weird."
Yeah, you're weird. It's good.
It's so good.
Yes.
And I feel like I grew up with her because I watched all that
Right.
and then the Amanda show and then What I Like About You. It's like we're friends. We grew up together.
Yes, that is so true. Yeah, definitely. You're watching her grow up. And you see her like, I don't know, refining more and more her like comedic style. Like, because I feel like they're like Amanda Bynes like has all those elements and a lot of her characters. And so I feel like as I was like rewatching the show, I like saw bits and pieces of like, oh, she kind of took that and like did it even more in like She's the Man, or did it
Right.
even more in
Yeah.
Easy A, or like whatever. And so it is kind of fun to watch.
Yes.
Uh,
What's your favorite part about the show?
I think I related to her a lot because like I'm a mess. Even rewatching it now, I'm like, girl, I'm still the same. I need some structure, please. I need an older sister to put me in my place because
Yes.
I'm out here ruining everything.
I'm out here ruining lives. You don't even know.
It's
That is so funny.
relatable. And I love the little will he won't they moments of it all. Like
Yes.
I'm
So
a sucker
good.
for those. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so good. If
You
they were
know,
about to end the show without them together, I was about to be
I
done.
know.
I was like,
Yes.
goodbye.
You know what? In rewatching the show, I was like, there is actually so much boy drama. Like I was like, that's kind of like what the show is. It's all this boy drama. Like Val has so much boy drama. Holly has so much boy drama. Like, and I didn't realize how like back to back it is.
Yeah.
I think at one point I remember growing up being like, okay, this is too much. Like,
Yeah. How many men can you guys have?
right.
Yeah.
Like,
so many men.
yeah.
So-
I can't be rooting for all three. Like,
I
come
know.
Right? Who's your favorite Holly boyfriend?
I just found out that Simon Rex was an adult film star.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but
Oh my gosh.
yeah, he was a cutie.
Is that why he left the show? Well, that was
No.
Val's boyfriend.
Oh, that was Val's. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that Jeff?
That's Jeff, the
Yeah,
first
Jeff.
season 1. I actually hated Jeff.
Me too. I was like, get out of here, Jeff.
He was so cute.
Oh my gosh,
thought
I
he
felt
was
like
so
Jeff
annoying.
Yes, Jeff was always just trying to sleep with Val. I was like, do you guys
That
ever
is
talk about
true.
anything else? Like,
That
why
is
are you
true.
together?
He was always like, so we getting it in.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like
Every
he did not
Every
like
day.
bring anything to the table. Like he didn't really like the conversation was not
Yeah.
there. He was
I
just
think
kind
I'm
of
just his looks. He was
right.
cute.
He's
Yeah.
cute. He's not like ugly, but I was just like, I'm over him. Like, shut up. Like,
Stop. Yeah. I liked that him and Gary were friends though. But Gary's always
Yes.
friends with all of Val's boyfriends. I don't know why.
that's true.
I'm like, I don't really understand how that happens, but
I know
is.
Gary's friends with everyone.
He really is.
I was also thinking how insane it is. You know, their friend group only has so many boys, and Holly
Right.
dated all of them besides
so
Gary.
true.
You know what I mean? Or like even when she dates Ben, when she brings back Ben home from Paris, he then just becomes part of the friend group even when they break up. And I'm like, no one's hanging out like
You're
that.
like,
Like get all the exes away from each other.
So with Val's husband, the guy that she ended up with, did you guys
Vic.
like him?
I really
I
liked
loved Vic.
Vic. As a kid. Yeah, watching Vic was my favorite. I think they had the best chemistry.
Yeah, they
And
did.
I thought they were like they built all these like steamy moments of like these
Yes.
kisses, and every time they kissed, I was like, oh my gosh, be together. And but then Val would be like, no, and then
I
she'd be like,
know.
yes, no. And so I feel like they really built that up very well. But it's funny because rewatching it, I'm like, okay, this is like actually psycho though, that they got like drunkenly married,
Yes.
and he's just like staying in the house and it's like, we're
Yes.
soulmates,
We're
like
together.
we gotta
That's
be
it.
together. And she's like,
I
get
would
out.
do something like
Yeah,
that.
and you're like, that doesn't feel that far off.
Right.
I'm crying. Would you still?
At least she knew him.
Stay
He
in
wasn't
it?
a rando.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Would I
Do you-
stay in it?
Yeah, if that was you, would you be like,
Or would
should
you
we?
get
Would you
it
be like,
annulled?
let's break this up, and like, if we're gonna be together, like, let's figure that out first.
Yeah, we should probably break up. I would be responsible. The way my mama is set up,
She's
it
like,
would be annulled immediately.
yeah. She's walking you over there to the courthouse. No, we're not doing this.
It's
Thank you.
not happening.
Yeah. And well, it's funny because I just watched the episode. I also love like with Val, Jenny Garth, the actress, they have all these like secret Beverly Hills 90210 references.
So good.
Yeah. So if you ever watched Beverly Hills 90210, they bring back some of the characters. And this one character who, they brought back, he's Brandon on 90210.
Right.
And he was Charlie, this guy, Chuck, or, Charlie. I don't think Vic just called him Chuck, but, on the
On the
What I
Halloween
Like About
episode,
You,
right?
it was this Halloween episode, and he was like this creepy guy, and Val went out on a date with him just to be like, see, Vic, I don't like you. And he ended up being like this weirdo and gave her like a diamond bracelet, and he was like, she's
He's,
the
like,
one I'm gonna
obsessed,
propose.
yeah.
And so then Val ends up getting her hand stuck in her toilet cleaning, and Charlie comes over, and it's just like, here, I got you this ring. Oh, your left hand is free. Great, because we're getting married. And she calls Vic with her free hand and is like, get over here. And then Vic comes over, and Charlie's like, Vic, her and I are meant to be. Like, she's my soulmate. I know this in my gut. And then he's like, oh my gosh, that's what I've been saying this whole time. I get it now. I sound crazy.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm glad he realized that, but it also like the lesson didn't do anything, because then Val was like, but I want to be with you, so come over here.
Right. She tried to like trick him to come back.
Yeah.
Yay. I didn't watch 90210 like that, so I didn't even know.
Really? Yeah, no, neither did I. Paige was
Yeah.
like, you need to watch Beverly Hills 90210.
Yes. I only
So-
watched it because I really liked What I Like About You. And I really liked Val. I thought she was just like so cute and funny. I obviously also loved Amanda Bynes, but my mom was like, oh, well, if you love Jenny Garth, you need to watch Beverly Hills 90210, because that was like her big main thing, 10 seasons, lead character. So I watched it, and then I was like obsessed with 90210. And so then when I would keep watching What I Like About You, I would get all the references. I was like, oh my gosh, because
Yes.
they also had this character, Dylan on 90210. He came and was a plumber, Todd, on What I Like About You. And they had this like flashback of when they hooked up at the spring fling. And it was like, she wore the dress that she wore on 90210. And
Oh my god, I definitely have to watch that thing. 'Cause
Yes, it's
it's
funny.
cuter when you know the inside jokes. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I definitely remember watching the episode and not knowing what that meant. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, cute. You guys are back in the day.
Yeah. I remember thinking like whatever. And then when I watched it, I was like, oh my gosh, because they even name drop like Brenda, like the other characters and stuff. So I'm like, this was great for the parents and the kids to watch.
Yes. Such a good family show.
Yes. But do you have a favorite of Holly's boyfriend?
No,
Henry,
I
Vince?
struggle with that. I like them. Like, I was really rooting for all of them.
You're like,
I
girl,
was
just
like,
pick
okay, now
one.
okay, right. And then I was like, okay, I can't. Like, now I quit.
Yeah.
Pick one, please.
You know what's so funny to me though? As I was watching this, I was like, she got all these men, ain't
Oh.
having sex with none of them. And they over here doing the world. I was like,
yes,
I don't know.
banging down the doors.
When Ben came back from Paris with her and Tina was like, you got a great personality, but it's not that great. I was like, honestly, like what is
That is a crazy line. I know they're all mean. I might be saying some mean stuff.
Did you guys have a favorite?
Vince was my
Vince,
favorite.
Yeah.
Like, in the end, we all fell in love with Vince. In the end.
Yeah. Well, because she always kept going back to him too. I
Yeah.
felt like I really liked Henry as a person, but I was like, y'all ain't got no chemistry. Like she don't like you.
No.
That's your best friend. Like she was not into him like that. And
Yes.
but like I felt so bad because she kept jerking him around.
Mhm.
Like I forgot how many times she flip-flopped. I thought it was just like once.
Forever.
But the way she was with Henry and then is like, oh no, I'm having feelings for Vince. Henry finds out, they break up. She tries to be with Vince and then she's like, Vince is too much of a hoe. I think I like Henry again.
Right.
And then, but then I think it's the season 2 finale where Henry is like, no. And then, Henry gets a girlfriend and then she's like, damn it, but I like him. But then he breaks up with his girlfriend and he's like, Holly, I love you. And then Vince is like, Holly, I love you. And so she's got 2. And I'm like, meanwhile, she about to go to Paris and get a new boyfriend. So y'all need to quit. And they both visited her in Paris. So I was like, Holly, not cheating. We not acting like
homegirl.
Holly is a player. Like
she
Holly
had a
is
rotation.
playing these men. She was on her rotation because like in the beginning of season 3, she's coming back and they're looking at photos. She's like, oh, there's me and Henry. Oops, delete.
And she's like,
oh, there's me and Vince. Oops, delete. And now she's with
baby
Ben.
girl.
Yeah.
And she didn't tell Henry or Vince. Like Henry's like, I was waiting for you all summer. I look like an idiot. And I was like, you ain't even tell that. Like, did Henry think he was dating you? Because girl,
I know. So true. What if they all thought they were dating?
They did. I'm pretty sure they all did. Like
that is so crazy.
And she's crazy for having all these men fly out for her.
I was gonna say, I need the playbook because
literally write the rules down so we know.
Yes.
Yeah, shocking. But no, I don't think Henry and Vince thought that they were both dating Holly because weren't they waiting at the airport for her? And they were like, hey,
she's gonna choose me.
She's gonna choose. Yeah, they knew they were battling. They were both up for the prize, but like they don't know who's gonna win.
Oh my god,
it's true.
It's a mess.
This like my love life was never like that.
Right? Yeah. And then you remember like Holly's like 18. You're like,
right. And then
why is your life so complicated?
Right. But then the way she started having feelings again for Vince when she was with Ben, I was like, bro, just get with Vince. Like the pattern is Vince. And I felt bad because there's even an episode where she goes to visit Henry while he's in college and like asks for his advice. And he's like, you like Vince. And I'm like, the way Henry got to be a good guy to the end, you out here bothering him, asking him about
ruining his
relationship. And he's like, you clearly love Vince. It's not me. Go away. Like, no, he didn't say all that. He was nice, but I'm just like, I feel bad for him.
Stop.
Like,
yeah, literally stop. I know.
Terrorizing his life.
Yes. And Ben, she like goes to say I love you and then says I love you, Ben.
Vince.
To Ben.
Yes.
I remember that.
That was trauma. I was like, oh Lord.
I know. And then they break up, but she's like still his music manager.
She just, yeah.
Oh my gosh. But I didn't realize though, I forgot that Vince is like older than them. So when she was in high school and she was like having a thing with Vince, as I was rewatching it, I was like, no, I get why Val didn't like him now because
it's like, stop.
Like he's this older guy. He's the guy who delivers the packages to our house. Quit playing.
Yeah. I was worried about like rewatching it. I think I mentioned that to you, Paige. I was like, oh, is it going to be cringe? Especially Dan Schneider's situation.
Right.
Oh, this is going to be a mess.
I know. Right. I do feel like I view it with a slightly different lens now, especially because like most TV shows are like this, so it's not unusual, but just like all the like sex jokes or like the big hype around Holly's virginity, it just makes me feel weird now because of Dan Schneider. And I'm like, even though like I feel like when you watch a lot of older sitcom, like even like Friends, like it's just like sex joke after sex joke a lot of times. Right. So it's not like that's unusual, but it does feel weird. I think like what I like about You isn't a weird thing because it was on the WB, but it's like someone we know from Nickelodeon. So it was kind of in this middle, like kid-ish, but young adult show.
But she's grown. Yeah.
And like, because of that, I don't know. The sex things felt a little weird.
Felt a little strange. Was there any like iconic scenes for you of Amanda during the show?
I love her physical comedy. So when I was rewatching it, there's a scene when she's on top of the bed and like it's ripped tripping and
Oh,
falling and then she
yes.
falls. Yeah. So that's it. But I love her physical comedy as well. So it's really
Yes.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, she
Love it.
is. She is very physical.
Yes.
Or Val's wedding, when they got lost with the horse, they had to go out.
Right.
Oh, good.
She low-key
She be
stay
messing
ruining
stuff up.
weddings.
Yeah.
Messing stuff up. I'm like, that's me, girl.
She like tried to trick Vince into picking up a package so she could see if like they still had feelings or whatever. And then
Oh,
Vince
right.
gets hit by a car.
I forgot about that. Oh my
And then
God.
she's like, I killed Vince. I'm like, girl, your track record is not good. It's not
Holly
good.
really is a mess.
Yeah.
I feel like I also feel like she is a little bit selfish. She's kind of a bad friend sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Like I was watching the episode where it's like the end of season 2 or 3. I can't remember, but maybe 3. Actually, yes, the end of season 3. She's trying to tell Vince that she loves him, and Vince thinks that she got back together with Henry because Henry's dating another girl named Holly. And he heard Henry go like, "I love you, Holly," and so he's like, "Fuck." So Vince is like, "I'm going to Florida. I need to get out of here. I'm spending the summer in Florida." And so Holly wants to tell him that she loves him, and so she is hiding in his car and is like, "I'm gonna pop up and say I love you." But then she hears a girl come and is like, "Vince, where do I put my stuff?" So it's like, oh shoot, now she's stuck in the back seat under the luggage while he's off with some other girl in Florida. But she finally, like, she gets out, like they stop, they're at their destination, and she gets out and she ends up hanging out with this other guy and sort of like dumping all her problems on him. And he's like, oh my gosh. And I was like, yeah, Holly always does that. She's always like dumping all her problems and is like, help me. Or like, what do I do? And like doesn't ever listen or do anything for anyone else.
No advice.
Oh no.
But it's like funny. It's funny. But I was like, yeah, Holly, all she does is talk about herself and whatever boy problem is happening to her. Because like, I'm like, she don't care about Tina. Like even the episode where she's like, I'm ready to have sex with Vince. They're in Vermont and it was like a birthday present.
Yeah.
It was Tina's mom's birthday present to her. They're spending a weekend in Vermont and she's like, okay, get out of here because I'm ready to have sex.
Literally kicked Tina
was
of
like,
her cabin.
Tina was like, this was my birthday present. And she was like, well, it was a great party, but okay, go. And I'm like, dang, Holly, like
literally. Oh my gosh.
Wow, Holly.
Wild.
Whoa.
That's right. I forgot about that. Literally kicked her out of her own thing.
Right. I was like, that's kind of rude, actually. Like,
That's
I would
rude.
just be like, how about you go somewhere?
Literally,
and have sex?
you leave.
Like,
yeah, you leave. That's so true. Tina shouldn't have left. I'm mad at Tina now.
I wouldn't have left.
I'm like, now I'm mad at Tina.
My
So-
birthday.
yeah. That was your fault.
right.
Tina, stand up for yourself.
Yeah. Tina, say no.
Yeah, Tina,
that
put
would
your
have been
foot
the time.
down. I do love though how like her relationship with Val, like Val pretty much is like eventually starts being like, you have to make your own decisions. You know, I can't like tell you what to do. And then, we see Holly start learning and being like, okay, yeah, I'll know I'm ready when I don't have to like come to you and ask and stuff like that. So you really do see them grow. And I really love like this sister relationship. That was like my favorite part of the show. I thought Amanda Bynes and Jenny Garth had just like such cute little chemistry. They were so cute.
And I always wanted a bigger sister. So I think because of that too. I'm like, you see them fight and stuff, but they also really love each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And she can guide Holly and give her advice and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yes.
That Val's always hungry. Like Val's always like, listen, where's the piece of cake? Like she's like, oh, I lost 7 pounds. I'm gonna eat me a cake. Like she's always just like, where's the food at?
Yes.
She loves sweets. Like that's it.
Yes.
She's like,
you
she's
see,
got like a sweet tooth.
they were dropping hints for the cupcake business.
Yes. That's why I was like, that worked in that way. But like also her just getting a business out of nowhere after one failed. You're like, okay.
I know.
Confused.
They had like Val doing everything. Like first it was PR, then she had her own PR firm, but like I feel like we didn't actually see her do like a lot of work really with it. Like we never saw her
Right.
like with clients or anything aside from like when she very first started it and like tried to get Tina's mom as a client. And then Lauren's like, oops, your business failed as your wedding fell apart. And then she's like, okay, cupcake business. But then like when she first opens the cupcake business, it's all these like bright, colorful things. And then she's with Vic and then he remodels it and it's like chicer looking.
Yeah.
But I feel like the cupcake business wasn't like bright and colorful for that long. It like went to like,
It's like 2 days.
so I'm like, she remodeled right after opening. Like it was like,
You
she
just got this.
She's like, I'm remodeling. And I was like, you just got it. Like,
Grand
Already knows.
remodeling.
Yeah. She's like, I took a nap. I realized this is not it. Next idea.
right. Also, it is a bakery. They bake a lot of cupcakes. I don't know. When I think bakery, I think more pastries, like
Pastries,
muffins,
yeah.
like
Oh.
more breads. I'm not
Yeah.
thinking like cake shop unless you
that's so
say
funny.
you're a cake shop. Like
No, that's definitely where my head goes. I go to cupcakes and
Cupcake?
brownies. Yeah. I'm like, if I go here, there better be sweets.
I
I would be mad if it was just bread, actually. But I do get that. That's true.
Well, there's so many like little cafes that are, that like are like such
Also
and such
bakeries.
bakery.
Yeah.
And it's like you get a breakfast sandwich. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I guess maybe I don't eat a lot of sweets like that. I love bread, so maybe
that's true.
probably
I do
Right.
love
as
bread
well.
more.
No, I prefer sweets. I'm like, no.
Because I'm just like, who's just buying cupcakes all the time? Like that
Right, that's
bakery was full.
weird.
And I'm like, they're only eating cupcakes. That like the menu like had other stuff, but you would really
It
only
did.
see them eating cupcakes.
So true. Oh my gosh, when Lauren had to dress up as a cupcake, that was my favorite.
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Like, thank you.
I love Lauren.
Yes. She's so funny.
Lauren's great.
I know before like Lauren and Tina were on the show, I'm like, why didn't they start out with Lauren and Tina? They
I
add so
know.
much. Like I'm really shook at how in the beginning it really was just Holly, Gary, Val, and Jeff.
Yeah.
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 That
It
was
was
like
a small group.
yeah. And then
They hate
Gina.
women.
They hate women.
They needed the women.
I
Yes.
looked up, Wesley Jonathan. He's handsome.
Yes.
He's still handsome.
Yes.
All his naked scenes and what I like about you. I was like, you always got your shirt off.
I know. Everybody talking about Vince. We need to be talking about Gary.
For real.
Gary
A
half the
moment
body.
for Gary.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
his abs.
And the abs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary is definitely the hottest. Like Vince is like, I mean, Vince is cute, but
He's
like Gary got him beat on body, on height,
Face,
face.
dimples.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah. You're like,
Like, And then wait, do him and Tina like really get together?
they get together at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. She's like, what took you long enough?
Mhm.
I like that for them.
Yeah.
I know. I like that they
Tina's
hated each
fun.
other literally 98% of the show.
Yeah, me too. And then he started calling her the Tina. Like it's like, cause the Tina, like she did it. But But also look at Tina hooked up with half the friend group too. Vince
She
and
really
Gary.
Can't trust Tina.
I know.
I
That was
liked her, but-
really, I know, really upsetting when she slept with Vince. I don't
Wow.
know. I don't know that I'd be able to get over it. Like I know it happens, and it's like, because in that
like
it's-
give people grace, just sometimes it happens.
you're like, no. But,
Oopsies.
and like in that episode where she does learn to forgive Tina, we see like Val did the same thing to her friend in high school, which was like a callback to 90210. That was one of those episodes. So I'm like, I get it, but yeah, that is fucked up. But honestly, Val in that episode had a point because she was all like, Tina and Vince were two single people. The only person not single was you. So you need to figure out what you want, because she was with who
Ben at the
Was it
time?
Ben?
I think it
Yeah.
was Ben.
Okay. Yeah.
True.
So it's true. She can't be like claiming over Vince, but
I know.
yeah, but crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, why Tina?
Tina.
Why
why?
Vince?
Well, you know what? Lauren did the same thing because Lauren ended up with what's his name?
Rick,
Rick.
which I think is so messy. The way they had, let's break down the Rick Val story, because I was like, are you actually joking? Because
Let's dive in.
Rick is engaged, but like Val and Rick knew each other. They dated before, they dated in high school. And then I forget how they re-encounter, but she starts liking him again and he's about to be married and she's all depressed. And then he shows up at her house like, I couldn't do it. I didn't get married. And she's like, oh my gosh. So then they get together and then she thinks at one point she might be pregnant. And then he's like, marry me. And she's like, really? Oh, okay. Yeah. Woo. It finds out she's not pregnant. And then she's like, you don't still want to get married, right? And he's like, wait, what? Why not? And she's like, what? And so then they break up and they're like, Val, why did you do that? You know, you actually like Rick. You're like, you're playing yourself, like be with him. And she's like, okay, I want you back. And then he's like, yes, marry me. And then they're about to get married. And 2 days before the wedding, he meets up back with Julie, his ex fiance. But Holly sees him and Holly's like, why'd you go do that? And he's like, she called me, she needed closure. And then Holly, the day of the wedding, is like, I need to make sure nothing's happening. I'm going to go find Julie. Bursts in her on therapy, like
during therapy.
This
is HIPAA violation.
I was like, you can't fucking do that. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. She's crazy. Cause she's like, oh no, Julie called me back. But you know what? Her therapist's office is 12 blocks away. I was like, why did Julie give her the address of her therapist?
Literally.
And then Holly bursts in and is like, so did you call Rick? Why'd you call him? Da, 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 da. And she's like, Rick called me. And she's like, what? So then as she's walking Val down the aisle, she's all like, Rick called Julie. And it's like, why would you even?
I know.
I don't think Holly should have said that. Like you're actually like down the aisle, not walking down the aisle. Anyway, we get up to the altar and Val's like, so did you call Julie or did Julie call you? And he's like, what? And then they're like, time out. We're going to go talk. And all he said was like, he was just, he was nervous, was feeling like scared about the commitment, but was still willing to take that jump. And it's funny because I was watching with my boyfriend and he was like, these are all very normal fears. And he's still like, I still want to marry you. So for her to break up with him, honestly, that's some dumb shit. He was like, he didn't do anything. Like he was being honest and was just like, yeah, I was nervous. Like this is a big step, da, 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 but I'm still willing to take it. And she's just like, no, you can't ever have fear. I don't want this. My boyfriend was like, what? She broke up what? That's very regular. And I was like, that's funny because I do think it's very much feeding into that like fairy tale of like, you should know always 100%, never have any doubts, da, 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 da. And so because he's like, yeah, I've had doubts. She was like, then we can't be together. It is a little bit dumb, but I didn't really like Rick that much. So I was like, I don't care. I want her to break up with him.
I know.
Anyway, bye.
Literally.
Anyway, they break up and eventually she finds out his ass gets back together with Julie, marries Julie. And then Lauren starts doing online chat rooms and shit. She falls in love with a married man, meets him. It's Rick. And I'm like, okay, he really can't do commitment then because
no,
because what is he
like
doing?
She dodged a bullet.
She did. And then Lauren's like, no,
so
I
Holly
actually
saved the day.
She really did save it. I
did
appreciate it. Yeah. I know she probably should have told her like before they got down the aisle, but she didn't marry the guy and have to divorce him and be like, by the way, he was talking to his ex.
Exactly. But yeah, I think it's so dumb that Lauren's like, no, I actually love him. You don't know him like I know him. Da, 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 da. And then I'm like, that is so fucking messy.
Yeah,
like, what?
It is.
I should have looked up the writers during this time.
What be happening to y'all?
Right. I mean, it's drama, but it's like, wow, what are we doing?
So messy.
Right. A lot of people are recycling some people in here. Why are we doing that?
Yes. Even like Vic, part of me wonders why they decided to bring him back because we meet him in season 1 or something for like 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I wonder why they were like, we got to bring him, like if something happened or if he just happened to audition and they were like, this is how we'll work it in or what, because it is a little random, but I did like it, but It is kind of
Yeah.
random. He just pops up and it's like, whoa, married.
They're married. Congrats.
Yay!
Yay.
I know.
But yeah, so everybody was very, very messy.
Yeah.
Yes. A great cast, but yes, very messy storyline. Everybody was doing everything.
Yeah, full circle.
A couple circles.
Full circle, couple looped back and doubled.
Yeah.
And
Some
then
triple
we
axles
made
in
it.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then love wins.
Yeah. At the end of the day.
Love wins.
So good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very fun show. Did you have any other favorite moments on the show?
No, I really love the cast. I think they did a
Yeah.
really good job of casting everybody. Like
Yeah.
it was my favorite show growing up.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was I don't know why it was so kind of niche. You're right. Not a lot of people knew about it, but it
Yeah.
was just like a feel good show. Like even when
Yeah.
Holly's going through all of her things, you're like, she's just extra. You're like, I love it. But you're like, you're so extra.
Right?
I think it wasn't a show that my Black friends were watching.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I'm surprised. Like literally, I think I've only bonded with this show with you two. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. But nowadays, what's funny is when I bring it up, people are like, oh yeah. Like they know it.
It's like people were watching, but
I'm
like,
like,
not
they didn't wanna
talking.
admit it.
I was
I
like,
don't know.
were
They
you
don't-
not fans? Is that what's happening?
right?
Like to laugh.
I know. You don't enjoy joy?
Right? Especially like I feel like in high school I was like watching like they played so many reruns on like Nick at Night and stuff,
Right.
and like they played that all the time. So I was like, y'all ain't up just watching Nick at Night, like you ain't seen
Doing-
the show?
Yeah. What you doing? Homework? No.
Y'all doing homework? I'm watching TV.
I'm
Like,
watching TV.
Yes.
I did used to watch TV while I did my homework though, so I was watching like a lot of TV.
How do you do that? Okay.
Well,
multitasking.
not
I don't
only-
think I would
Takes
do
you a
it.
very long time.
Okay.
Homework is twice as
Be like
long.
watching, honestly, like I probably would have went to bed a lot earlier if I wasn't like glued to the TV and like trying to write. Like,
You know, that probably started habits for me because I do that to this day. Like if I have work or something to do after hours or whatever, I'm like,
I cannot focus.
like
Mm-mm. I can't
I
do
have to
that.
have somebody else talking.
yeah, I mean, honestly, like it depended on what the homework was. Math, I feel like was
Right.
easier to do with TV because it's like formulaic. I don't have to like read something. But if
Right.
it was a reading or writing situation, I was like, okay, commercial break. But you know,
Yeah.
commercial breaks are like
I'll-
2 minutes. So
I'll be
it's
back.
taking me like
Okay.
hours to do an
Oh my
assignment when I
God.
probably could have been done a lot earlier. But you know what? All that TV homework paid off because
Here we
I-
are.
That's true.
look at where I'm at.
Here you
Look at
are.
what we're
Here
doing.
you are.
I'm in a place where people like where you've studied every episode of TV. So
Yes.
And if they don't like it, we like it here right now.
yes,
They don't appreciate it. Here we are.
We do.
yes. But thank you for joining us, Dyani. Thank you for
Yeah.
loving what I like about you. Like we
Yes.
love it. Thank you
Amanda, we
to
love
Amanda
you.
Bynes.
Yes.
Yes.
She did it.
I know. I miss seeing her on TV. She's such a
know.
comfort. Like
Yeah.
she really does feel like a friend, especially since we like grew up watching her also grow up. Like you're right that it does feel very much like, oh, my friend Amanda. Like, boop. So thank you to it all. But before we get out of here, Dyani, let the people know where they can find you on the socials.
Oh, you can find me on Instagram at d.rejae, Rejae. And yeah, just take it from there. I think TikTok is the same.
You're like, and guess the other ones.
Yeah, then
Just
we'll
take it
figure
from
everything else out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And if you enjoyed this episode, then come join us for our after show where we take a moment for hot takes with, and we'll get Dyani's hot take. So head over to patreon.com/this is a moment podcast to see our hot takes with Dyani.
Yeah.
Yes. And we'll see you next time.
Yes. Bye.